Deep Dive with Morgan.
Vetoed by the wolf, the SB111 insurance bill, tort reform, and a governor's broken promise. Welcome to Deep Dive, the podcast where we cut through the noise, drill into the truth, and leave no political stone unturned. I'm your host, Morgan, and today we're diving into a bill that was tailor-made for the insurance lobby, bulldozed through Baton Rouge with almost every Republican's blessing, only to get kneecapped by Louisiana's own Governor Gov Landry. This is the story of SB111, a so-called tort reform bill pushed by Senator Seabaugh, a lawyer for the insurance industry. And this is the story of why it was vetoed, why it matters, and why, despite the hype, none of these bills ever lower your rates. Let's get into it. SB111 PAC. SB111 was pitched as common sense reform. But let's call it what it was, a massive legal shield for insurance companies at the expense of policyholders. Here's how. If you're injured and your insurer drags their feet, you can't sue for penalties unless you clear 4 hurdles. There must be no good faith dispute about fault or your injuries. You have to make a perfect policy limits demand and give them 30 days. And this is the kicker. The insurer gets to claim they need adequate discovery before you can even accuse them of bad faith. The law didn't define adequate discovery. Translation: your claim could be tied up for months, maybe years, while the insurer claims the investigation isn't done. The bill even banned lawsuits against individual adjusters. So if you got ghosted by a specific rep, too bad. You can't hold them personally accountable. Bottom line, SB111 made it a bureaucratic obstacle course for anyone trying to hold insurance companies accountable for stalling, denying, or lowballing claims. That's not reform. That's open season for abuse. Governor Landry's line in the sand. Now here's the plot twist. Governor Gov Landry vetoed the bill. Yes, the same Landry who ran as Mr. Tort Reform, promising to sign every single lawsuit reform that hit his desk. Why did he flip? According to Landry, it wasn't about trial lawyers, and it wasn't about the insurance lobby. It was about protecting regular Louisianans from insurers who already have all the power. Landry called out insurers' history of delay tactics, especially after disasters like Katrina, and said Louisiana's bad faith penalty laws are the only thing keeping companies honest. He specifically slammed the adequate discovery clause, calling it a recipe for endless stalling. And he pointed out that bad faith penalties were already gutted in 2024. This bill would have taken away nearly all accountability. Landry's words: good insurance companies have nothing to fear from current law. SB111 won't lower litigation, won't cut your rates. It just makes it harder for policyholders to challenge bad actors. In short, Landry threw the red flag and called BS. Where's the beef? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Would SB111 have lowered your insurance premiums? That's the billion-dollar question. Here's the answer. There is no reason to believe it ever will. After the Omnibus Premium Reduction Act in 2020, rates went up, not down. Nearly 40% since then, and they're still rising. There is nothing, zero, zip, nada, in SB111 requiring insurers to lower rates or even explain what they do with the money they save from not getting sued. Louisiana's insurance commissioner himself admitted that tort reform is a gamble, not a guarantee of lower prices. So let's stop pretending. Tort reform is sold to the public as a rate reducer, but it's really a way to pad insurance industry profits. History and math don't lie. Follow the money. Who really benefits? Time to follow the money. SB111 was written by Senator Seabaugh, who just happens to be an attorney for, you guessed it, the insurance industry. His campaigns are loaded with cash from insurers, trucking PACs, business groups, and every flavor of insurance lobbyist in the state. On the other side, Governor Landry's veto drew fire from those same lobbyists and their friends in the legislature. But Landry's campaign, he took in huge donations from trial lawyers. So is this really about protecting consumers? Or is it just about whose checkbook is bigger? Here's the reality. Louisiana politics is a tug of war between the insurance lobby and the trial lawyer lobby, with policyholders getting dragged through the mud. The only thing that's certain is campaign cash moves the needle a hell of a lot faster than your claim. The bottom line for Louisiana policyholders: what does it all mean for you? If you're sick of rising premiums, tired of getting ghosted by your insurer, or just frustrated by politicians promising the moon and delivering squat, don't be fooled by slogans. SB111 would not have made your premiums drop. It would have made it easier for insurance companies to deny claims, stall, and avoid accountability. And don't forget, the law was just reformed last year. Bad faith penalties are already weaker than ever. Governor Landry's veto, whatever the politics, keeps at least a few guardrails up for consumers. But until we get real reforms with teeth, like mandatory rate reductions tied to legal changes, expect more of the same: higher rates, less recourse, and politicians pointing fingers at everyone but themselves. That's it for this deep dive. SB111 was an industry wish list dressed up as consumer relief, and for now, Louisiana's governor called a timeout. If you want real answers on insurance, don't just watch the bills. Watch who's cashing the checks. I'm Morgan. Share this episode, follow us, and next time someone tells you they're fixing insurance, you'll know better.